Yay, Marie.
Okay, here we go. Let's hope Penny comes back.
As she will.
That threw me for a second. I felt like we were like, once we were in that flow of like, oh, let's just do the call. Because I saw who came in. I was like, well, this would be fun to really get into things just with you guys.
Yay,
But
Marie.
okay, let's hope Penny comes back.
As she will.
That threw me for a second. I felt like we were like, once we were in that flow of like, oh, let's just do the call. Because I saw who came in. I was like, Penny comes back to really get into things just with you guys. Who's got their camera? Who's got it on?
Turn down your phone or whatever.
Let's hope Penny comes back. That threw me for a second. Okay. Are we good? Does everybody have their YouTubes off? I'm waiting. I can hear you. Hold on. Hi, guys. Just waiting for Penny to come back in here. We had a little bit of a tech thing, so thank you for your patience. I'm delighted to be with these beautiful women today. I'm feeling very much in need of that feminine love, that unconditional way of just being. And so I thought for today, we had a little bit of a tech thing. So thank you for your patience.
Marie, I'm still hearing the
delighted
feedback.
to be. What's happening? Sorry, Kira, tell me. Unconditional way of just being.
I hear it keep
and
repeating
so I thought
over and over again
today,
the same
we had
words.
a little bit of a tech
Does
thing.
anyone
So
else
thank
hear
you for
that?
your patience. I'm not hearing it. All of my windows are closed. Is everybody else's windows closed?
Yeah, I'm hearing the delay too. When you hear it now there again. Somebody has their YouTube on as well.
I turned off my YouTube, so are we good? Kira, when you unmute yourself, I do hear it over there. Let me make sure all my windows are closed. Yep. Thanks, guys, for your patience with us today. We're going to sort this out. Are we good? Hi, Dave. Hi, guys. Okay, so I'm going to start. I think.
Yeah, I think I can hear everything now.
Okay, I'm going to start. I don't see Penny, but it says that she's. I don't know what's going on. But I do want to start us with here's Penny. And then we lost Kira. We'll get her back. Friends, I want to do a meditation. And I know we're starting a little bit late. And I know, Siobhan, you have 1 hour, but I'm going to get you in here in just a second. But this meditation came through, and I felt like it was really important that we offered it to each other and to whoever's going to watch this. So if I can just invite you to close your eyes for a moment and take a big exhale through your mouth. And allowing this next piece of time to be about love and only love. I want to ask on behalf of all of us that we receive in this moment a memory, a vision of a time in your life, past, present, or future, this or any other, where you really did great. Where you can acknowledge yourself, even if you're being shown a grievance or something sad. Notice your brilliance in that moment, your tenderness, taking a moment to bring your hands in front of your heart and to bow to that part of you that is enough, that shows up to life every day with loving intention, with a pure heart. And asking that this be your vibration for the rest of the day and into this week. Energy of gratitude and acknowledgement, of plenty, of abundance. Just taking a deep breath and exhaling through your mouth. Namaste. Just taking a deep breath. You could just make sure you mute yourself. Mouth. I'm just going to mute you, Lonnie. I think your thing was on. Hi, guys. Greetings. Is that okay? Is that okay? I know it was just a few minutes, but it was really coming to me that we spend a lot of time focused on what we're not doing right. I don't know if anybody else does that. Do you ever do that? Do you ever just notice, gosh, I really could have done that better, or he could have done that better, or she could have done that, or why did that happen? And I have really been meditating on this because the energy of having those thoughts is kind of heavy. You know what I mean? You kind of feel like sluggish, a little bit like dense. And that's not our natural state of being. And I think all of us here know that. And yet we still find ourselves in those places. And it's got me thinking so much about miracles, because miracles are those opportunities to change my mind around how I perceive something, around how I perceive myself, around how I perceive an event or a situation or a personality in my life. And I'm reminded this morning in a very big way that I could see peace instead of this. That I have so much power in my mind that I can allow it to go in any direction that I want it to go. And if I choose to stay in the grievance, the not good enough, then I perpetuate the field of the matrix. I perpetuate all that is not good enough in the world. All that's not happening on a specific timeline that we want it to. All that didn't go the way that we thought it should. The relationship that fell apart, the person that passed, whatever it is. So many people get stuck in grievances, don't they? Has anyone here got stuck in grievances? Resentment? And it keeps coming. It's hard to break through it. And it really comes down to that very simple question of, am I willing to see this differently? And the deeper cut of that is, am I willing to see myself differently? Am I willing to see myself in my highest iteration of self? Am I really willing to see myself that way? Because if I am, then I've got to let go of the dramas. Shit. Because if I have to let go of the drama, and then I realize, wow, I'm addicted to the drama. I'm addicted to the energy of the drama. I'm addicted to the feelings that arise, even though they're not positive feelings. They're somewhat normalized in my field. They kind of make me feel alive at times. But I don't like them because I've come far enough on the spiritual journey, and I trust you guys can acknowledge yourselves for this. I've come far enough to know that this isn't the right vibe. This isn't the one I love. It's not the one that feels safe. It's not the one that makes me just want to hug you and tell you how much I love you. It's the energy of defense and protection. And it's a false defense and it's a false protection, because the truth is you're perfect. There's a part of you that is so untouched by anything in the matrix, anything. Anyone's perception of you, people you love and respect, they can think whatever they want about you. The goal that we have and the task that we have is to see ourselves in our perfection, which means that we've got to see our dark too, which is fine if you're not afraid of it. You can look. You can look. All it's asking for is your loving, tender eye.
You froze, Marie.
Yeah, she's gone.
Siobhan, since you have to leave early, why don't you share?
Yeah, just on what she's talking about there, you know, and where we see ourselves as where we did well or whatever. I did a Wachuma ceremony at the weekend, and very, very powerful, 10 women and one man. And like the biggest thing that came through to me was like, I just need to receive love. And like, that's what got me bawling, crying, you know. A lot of the other women was a lot of bawling and you know, releasing and huge energy shifts. And I honestly feel I kind of healed like some hurts in my body as well. And that was just pure tension, I think, you know, from holding on and holding on. And the other thing was, you know, afterwards, yesterday we were all talking and sharing about what had, you know, gone through for us. And the thing that I was proud of when they came to me and said, yeah, every time like I raised my head, you were just there giving me a lovely smile, and you had a big bright shiny head on you, kind of a thing. Like, and I was going, oh okay. You know, I didn't even know that I was doing that. Like, but you know, we have to pat ourselves on the back sometimes, and another thing that came out was just like, everybody's hurt. Every goddamn person in the world is hurt, and we just have to, when somebody irks me again, or when somebody annoys me or whatever it is, you know, just have to, I'm going to be able to turn that. And like Angelica Gagne says, transmuting fear into love, you know, and that's what we have to do. We have to do that. And because we know better, you know, and just hope I can try and turn that into grace the next time it presents itself, and not you know, fly off the handle and be annoyed with the person. You know, that's what I'd like to say.
I'm so glad. I'm trusting you just shared a little bit about your plant experience. Yeah. And that, because I received that message from you just around how you realized everyone was so hurt. And that's really what it comes down to, is that we're sincerely traumatized. Like, I laugh about it. We're sincerely healing eons of stuff.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's it. It's not just this life. Like a lot of the girls came up with, they were all saying ancestral stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's pretty powerful, that we just have to really get our heads around that.
Yeah. And that's beautiful. We will, and get our hearts around that, get our compassion around that, and stop judging ourselves and everybody else. So fiercely.
We're the hardest on ourselves. That's the worst thing, you know.
And because here's the thing that I was thinking about, Siobhan, like with my 7-year-old, I'm often like, I realized yesterday how many times I told her how much I loved her, and how many times I told her she was a bright being of light, little angel. How I speak to her is so endearing most of the time. I'm not perfect, but you know, for the most part, we do pretty good. And I thought to myself, wow, how were you spoken to as a 7-year-old? Without judgment, without being like, oh, my parent, I love them. I've healed so much. Like, I bow in gratitude to the feet of my parents, like how much I love them. It's ridiculous right now, how much healing we've gone through. But that wasn't how it was. It just wasn't. So I didn't grow up believing I was a being of light. So I find myself at 41 needing to be reminded by you, beautiful, mighty companions, you know, hey, you're a beautiful being of light. And I go, oh yeah, I forgot. Oh yeah, I forgot.
We're always forgetting. Because every day the ego gets up every day too.
Right.
It's a daily thing. It's a daily fight, if we want to call it a fight. You know, I mean,
Well,
it's a struggle
here's the
for
thing,
sure.
Siobhan.
And
Here's the thing about fighting and struggling. I think that was the past. I want to lay it down. I don't want to play tug and war.
No.
I'm just going to let it go. A great friend just said to me recently, like, when you're in situations like this where you're in a power struggle and you're playing tug of war, you have two choices. This was so profound. She's like, you can let yourself be pulled and fall down, or you can let go and they're going to fall down. Not that you want that to happen, but how do you want to engage with this struggle, with this fight anymore? Because defenselessness is the energy of love. It's a vibration. If I'm going in judgment and like keeping track of the list of all of the things that I don't understand or understand, or all of the things that I think someone else did to me or someone else is doing to themselves, like if I'm playing those games, that's drama. If I'm playing those games, I, by default, have got to feel like crap. Because ideas don't leave their source. It's in my head. And that's the thing about ego. And that's the thing about, a lot of self-righteous behaviors is when we want to call out someone's ego, it's our own ego that wants to do that. Hello, Psych 101, Spirituality 101. So is it appropriate to call out someone's ego? I would argue, I'm going to rephrase that. I want to reframe that. I'm not going to argue. I would posit and I would submit. I would present. In the context of a yoga circle, something like this situation where we've all agreed, we kind of know what's happening in these circles. If someone calls me up and asks me, hey, what do you think about A, B, and C? Then yeah, share. But to spend your time and energy doing that for people outside that container, it is inappropriate and harmful because of one thing and one thing only. There's no trust. Trust is the foundation. You've got to be able to trust whoever's going to give you that. Like Siobhan, you trusted the shaman, right? You trusted his expertise. You signed up for a situation where you were willing to let go of aspects of your ego. That's the thing about free will and choice with this. It's consistent. And no one outside you really can tell you what's right for you. They really can't, because you have your direct link back to spirit, to God, to creator. And it's your responsibility to do that. No one else is. No one else is. Unless you call Sabina up and you're like, hey, I'm really struggling with my fasting. I'm really, really struggling. And you've signed up and you've invested in that conversation, financially, energetically, whatever. You have to invest in it, because otherwise you won't be able to receive it. And that's the thing about healing our feminine, is she can't receive if she's under attack. And you're under attack, you're going to fight and you're going to struggle if there's an absence of safety and trust within the relationship. So it all comes down to, how are you relating to yourself? Where are your boundaries? And that's what I'm learning a lot of right now in my own life. Wait a second here. What's important to me? What do my 20 years mean to me? And that's why I asked you, each and every one of you, to look at a situation in your life where you did great, where you showed up to something really crappy or really difficult and you smiled anyway, or you let go of the rope. You knew who you were in that moment. And you didn't allow that to, get pulled around too much. And if you did, you laid down and you trusted you were healing. And you let yourself go through that alchemical process. Like I remember, Sabina, once you saying in one of these calls, like, you let out your pain. You went out to the ocean, you screamed, you yelled, you did what you needed to do. You didn't tell somebody else it was their fault you were doing that. You owned it as your alchemical lesson. You went, wow, thank you, creator of all, for this opportunity. to know who I am in my innocence, because there's way too much guilt. And if you ask me, what's the one thing we have to heal today in this moment, I would say our relationship to not good enough. Our spending our time, which is a holy gift, focusing on what's wrong instead of on what's right, and how to perpetuate that energy. And to look at how you showed up to any given situation and ask yourself, was my heart in the right place? 100%. Great. Then there's nothing else that needs to be said or done. Where was it not? Is there anything I need to look at? And let God tell you what you need to look at directly. And if you can't hear and you're on the ground or whatever, call somebody who you trust, who you love, who you've established with a relationship of trust. Are you guys with me? Does that make sense? I just think this is really, really an interesting nuance that I'm coming to. And I just wanted to posit it to this sacred container of the mighty companions. Because for me, a mighty companion is not someone who points out everything you're doing wrong and looks for you to falter. It's the one who focuses on what you're doing right. Really. And if you're doing something wrong, is going to have a creative way. But, wrong, really, who among us is really got a bad intention here? Really like, I'm going to go out there and really mess something up. Like no one, at least consciously. And so that's what this is about. It's about you being in your super conscious, you being connected to your creator. And his and her definition of you is the one that you are aligned to about you. God created you beautifully, perfect and innocent. And your opportunity is to get rid of all of the stuff that says otherwise. All of it. Good luck. Happy healing. To heal is to make whole. To heal is to make whole. Had this beautiful evening, and I'll open it in a second here, last night with my family. And, it's been interesting. We've had a lot of ups and downs and a lot of movement in our family. And I was just like so in the moment. Thank God, I was like cutting the tomatoes, cutting the cucumbers. And I was like right here. The kids were doing what they were doing, and Danny was doing what he was doing. And I was looking at this scene, and there was this beautiful music playing, great breeze. And I was like, this is beautiful. This moment is so perfect. It's so perfect. And in this moment, there are so many presents because I'm present. And I'm keeping this brain of mine that wants to go back into those old patterns. It's addicted to the drama. It wants to go back into it. Just stay right here. Stay right here. Because look what's about to happen. And then a gorgeous little 5-year-old comes up and says to you, I love you. And you go, wow, I almost missed that. Because I was wrapped up. And that's the practice of yoga, on and off the mat. That's what this thing is about. Unification to the moment, unification to supreme consciousness. In this present moment is where all the gifts are. The past, we've got to unlock it. We've got to unlock ourselves from it. It's over. It's over. It's over. It's only alive to the extent that I bring it right here. And the future is going to be the past if I don't change now. I'm just going to keep recreating the same thing, same situation. How many times, Marie Russell, do you want to create a situation like this before you learn the lessons that you need to learn between you and your creator and your trusted confidants, your mighty companions? It's time. It's real. And wow, it's what a gift. It's what a gift to take 100% responsibility for your life. And it's no one else's fault. None of it. Take it or leave it. That's what I've got for you guys today. Trust that was okay. I'm sure more will come through. But does anyone have anything they want to start with?
Always, Marie. Always so much to say. So many thoughts going on all the time. And I got out for my walk this morning, and that's when I get to connect with God. But I have to do it so early because it's so hot here right now. It's like over 100 degrees for you who speak Fahrenheit language. It's over 40 degrees here for those of you who speak Celsius language. Really, really, really warm. So I just want to encourage women too. When's the last time you wore a dress? I bought myself some dresses lately, and I'm so enjoying being this feminine, girly girl wearing a dress. It just feels beautiful. So if you haven't worn a dress for a long time, that would be my suggestion for all of you ladies in helping embrace that femininity for sure. It feels awesome that the way it just flows, it just goes along with how we need to be living our lives right now too, with the flow, the flowing dress, the flowing life, the flowing thoughts. You referred to the drama. Yes, drama is a real thing that we are addicted to. We've been conditioned to be addicted to drama through what we see, through what we view on TV, movies, things like that. We're kind of conditioned. So we have to uncondition ourselves. So what's even going on in like the truth world and communities and things like that? It's still just another aspect of this show that we are all watching. It's still not really real unless you're right there in it. And then that's when you get to go, oh my gosh, this is reality. This, now you get, then you can feel it and really know what it is and what it's not. Drama, let's just stay away from the drama. Let's defer to ourselves and to God. Watching things that we watch and listening to people that resonate with us, it's beautiful. So many tools, so many things to learn and to take from it, but then take it and get yourself away from it so it's not influencing you anymore. Take it and go within and defer to God. Defer to God. That's what he's there for. And I think, for example, I mean, I just want to bring up Charlie for a second, because I think he has inspired a lot of us to bring God back into our lives. And I think, you know, he would agree to say, you know, don't follow him completely. I mean, that's just not, it's not healthy for anybody to follow anybody and live on their every word and that kind of thing. It's like, defer to God, okay? I mean, he's the one that's going to tell you the truth. So for example, you know, Charlie's preaching truth and stuff. And I think, again, he would agree and encourage everybody to go figure it out for yourself. Don't just believe him and take his word for it. Go defer to God. Go defer to God and see for yourself. That's what it's all about. So use people you see every day as just tools. Please don't just be reliant on anything outside of you externally, whether that's a person, anything. Please just defer to God on all things. That's what I do. It's a really, really happy place to be. My life right now is so full of joy because I have God to defer to. I literally burst with tears because I'm so overjoyed. I'm so full of joy in his love. I literally burst into tears when I go for my walk and have my connection. It's such a beautiful, it's such a beautiful process to have that and know that. And speaking about community too, I mean, those who may have heard, I've found my community of like-minded individuals, and then we found some beautiful land on the lake. And next month I move to this land. And these families are beautiful. And we meet, well, we talk daily in a chat group. Thank you. We chat daily in a chat group, but we meet once, twice a week on Zoom and talk about details and what this looks like and that looks like. It's a very interesting process to have to learn how to be with other people in a harmonic way. You're not always going to agree. Sometimes we don't speak up and want to say something and voice our opinion if we think something, oh, maybe we shouldn't be doing it that way, but we kind of keep it to ourselves. Well, not anymore. We encourage each other. We can't let things fester, because that's going to be the downfall of our community. So this is going to be the deepest, hardest learning that I've ever done. And so I'm going to need lots of support too. And I know Maria's always there too for me to bounce things off of, and vice versa. But that's going to be the biggest lesson of all, is learning how to be with one another for who they are, what they come with, and using your voice in a way that's not egoic, coming from the heart place. Again, we're trying to teach ourselves as a group of community to include God into our conversations, to meditate or breathe deeply, defer to God before we're going to talk about something that might be a little bit hard or that we might have different opinions about. It's a beautiful, beautiful process. And I'm just so grateful. So please go with your intuitions, everybody. Always, always defer to God before making any decisions in your life. That's what he's there for. That's what I would encourage all of you to do. Marie has just gone through some crazy stuff that she's still trying to, comprehend. And we all love you, Marie. You offer, so much lightness and brightness in our world. And thank you for being who you are to your children. And again, what you were just saying about, let's focus on the good in people, right? It's like being a parent. That's what we want to do for our kids, right? What if we were nagging our kids all day? Like, who would they grow up to be?
Right.
If they were told that everything they do is like wrong and it's not right, it has to be like this. No, we have to let them be who they came to be. We're not here to be robots and be, put out in these same patterns, cookie cutted, right? Cookie cutters. We're meant to come here and just be supported to be who we are here to be, what our individual purpose is. And we need to focus our attention on our kids and what good they're doing every moment, so that they can feel blessed and
Yes.
And worthy, right? So thanks for bringing that up. So that's what I'm going to say today. I love you all. I do have a meeting here. That's why I just thought I'd kind of pop in and say my piece. But I love seeing all these women here, you guys, supporting Marie. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Women are so magical and lovely and amazing. And oh my gosh, aren't we though?
Yes. And I think we're learning. Your word of worthiness is so spot on right now. We are worthy of exceptional love. I mean, we are worthy of the extraordinary. We are worthy of excellence. And I think that that's what this is about right now, calling that in. Like, no, I'm setting the bar up so much higher. I just want it to be so much more fun than it is. I just want it to be just so much more freedom. And what you said about your community, Lonnie, if you need to pop off, go, I'll just keep riffing for a second. But, about the community and about honing God first, that's what we do. That's what I've been doing since I was 24. So like in the context, I've trained thousands of people in yoga, thousands. We've sat in circles. I mean, the trainings are 28 days. I used to do 7 a year. Count the years. I mean, so many days, 2 times a day, sitting down, calling in, sitting down, calling in. Okay, how is everybody? How is your practice today? What's coming up for you? What's on your heart? Let's work it out. And tools right now, guys, like I have been pulling out my tools like, I don't know why I put them away. Really, like, why do you even put them away? Like, you're going to need them every day. And here's the thing about the spiritual work and the work with the ego is that you got to work with it. You can't just yell at it. It's not going to go away because you're mad at it. It's here for some sort of loving acceptance. It's here to teach you a lesson. So if it's coming up and you're yelling at it and putting it on, it's going to get bigger and badder. It's worthy of a seat at the table. It has something to say. It might not say it the right way and it might be all funky, but if you're willing to see it differently, again, you get this soul lesson of self-respect or perseverance or patience or God, so much acceptance, direction, independence, clarity, clairvoyance. All of those things are yours, but you've got to demonstrate love. Loving consciousness in action is the only way to get the gifts of God. It's the only way. You cannot coerce God or manipulate God. You could try. I've tried. We've all done it. It's not like, if I do this, then that will happen. Or if I just get through this extra juice, then this, it's like, dude, God is looking at your heart, not at your mind and all of its old programs. It's trying to show you your old programs and to get you to say no thank you anymore. It's going to use them, but it's not going to judge you. That has not been my experience of God. I never felt that God made me suffer. I never. It was the ego, and it was the self, and it was the old programs, and it was the others that I allowed. But God himself, Mother Mary, those archetypes, those energies are so gorgeous, guys. The frequencies of those, you got to get to them. That's what this is about. It's like, and I want to go there. Well, you can't go in there by fighting your way in. It's by surrender. Okay. I'll let go. I'll let go of that thought, of that grievance, of that resentment, of that judgment, of that pain. Because that's what pain is. It's heavy, dense energy. It's not yours. Let it go. How? Well, by forgiving yourself. That's Ho'oponopono, Kira, if you want to pop in. I mean, this is like, Ho'oponopono is blowing my mind. And forgiveness process, which is in our Mighty Companions and our tools, that I want to share with you guys, because this process is so potent. How do you practice forgiveness if you don't know how? How do you let go of judgments if you don't know how? That's such a spiritual bypass. Oh, just let it go. Just let it go. Well, how? It's heavy on me. It's on my heart. It was my marriage. It was my this. It was my that. How do you just let it go? That takes some energy and time. That's what time is for. That's what you're supposed to be doing with your time, as you're juicing, as you're praying, as you're cleaning, as you're showing up to your life. How do I forgive? Spirit, show me how to forgive. How do I Ho'oponopono? I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for following those old programs. I'm really sorry for getting dialed into a drama. I'm really sorry about that. Not to necessarily to the person, but to your creator. Sorry I did that. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Yeah, it can't always be directed to anybody physically or individually, because they might not be on that same level to receive. So just putting it out there to God puts that at peace and lets you let go of it, so you can surrender and move on. It doesn't have to physically involve. And I think that's where people get caught up or stuck or afraid or whatever. It can be just as simple as putting it out there with all your heart and all your soul, and include God, and then it's done. Move on.
Done. That was so good, Lonnie. It's done then. You can trust the miracles to occur. You can expect a miracle. We ask too little of God, not too much. We ask way too little.
Yes, we do.
You know what I mean? We need to expect.
We forget to ask. I'd forget to ask all the time.
There you go. Well, now you get to remember.
On that Bible, that children's Bible school, the one I just released yesterday on my channel, the message there is ask big. God is the waymaker. God is the waymaker. And we should be asking big. No more of this asking for little stuff. Oh, but please, can I just have a little bit of this and a little bit of that? No, what the heck is that? What's that going to do for anybody? Ask big, because you deserve it. And there's more than enough to go around for the entire world. If you are asking big and receiving big and beautiful things, you are helping the entire world.
Absolutely. And again, that energy, that's a frequency to receive. And you can't do that in resentment, in grievance. It's a different vibration. Drama, it's a different thing. It's a different reality. It's not real in and of itself, because it can't sustain itself in the light of God. It can't. So it's going down. It's just for learning. It's just for contrast. But you now, as you're ascending, you got to get into the vibration. That's where you'll be at home. That's where all the joy is. Lonnie was so beautiful. I like cry. I'm walking around, looking at the tree. I could just see you doing it because you're in the moment. You're in that absorption. The yogis call it samadhi. You've been absorbed into it. There is no separation between you and God. And anyone who would hold you to that is just somewhere on their frequency. That's okay. But we have got to pull out of other people's perceptions of us as having any relevance, like even relevance around who and what you are. Unless it's you are a perfect, holy, innocent son of God, then it's not true. It's just not. And it's your opportunity in all of this is to keep getting into that frequency of love, which is so welcoming. And miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. They will not occur if you're in judgment. And that's why it's harmful for you to be judgmental and to hold on to your sadnesses and your grievances. And that's why we really need to heal. And fasting is important, and Ho'oponopono and walking in the woods and drinking the juice and all of the things are very, very important. Playing the music and doing the plants. Absolutely. All of these things are super, super important. But at the end of the day, it's just sitting down in front of your creator. And here I am. I'm here.
Okay, one more thing before I have to go here. I have 2 minutes. I've been listening to Florence Scovel Shinn lately. Have you guys heard of her? The Secret Door to Success?
Yes,
Yeah.
love her so much.
Okay, good. Yes. So please, that's a good reference. I encourage all you guys to just check it out, see if it resonates. So it's from like the 40s or something, this woman, but she brings God into it, and just beautiful things she says. I think you all will resonate. I love you all. What a blessing. I'll come back and watch the rest later, okay? Because I gotta hear all you beautiful ladies.
Thank you, Lonnie. We love you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. It's what it's about, guys. It takes time to build a relationship. It really does. And trust and faith. And we've got to be willing to be honest with ourselves. That's what I'm learning too. Just be more and more honest with yourself. Siobhan, do you want to play a song before we continue? I know you wanted to adios here soon too.
Yeah, sorry, I have to go. But yeah, Marie asked me to get this song together, and I kind of knew it from years ago, so I just had to put the words in front of me. So, oh God, this thing's in the way.
I was just wondering if you knew that.
What?
I'm delighted.
Yeah, I kind of knew it. I must have played it years ago or something, and then I just had to get out, the words and stuff. So, okay. What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song. And I'll try not to sing out of key. I'll get by with a little help from my friends. I'll get high with a little help from my friends. I'm gonna try with a little help from my friends. What do my love is away? Does it worry you to be all alone? How do I feel at the end of the day? Are you sad because you're on your own? Oh, I'll get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I'm gonna try with a little help
It was a little bit quiet at the end, Siobhan, but it was beautiful. Yeah, everybody hear it?
It was beautiful. Thank you, Siobhan.
Beautiful. So beautiful. I love that song so much. You know, it randomly came on this weekend, and it just really made me feel like, it's great to have a little bit of friendship, and to really go deep with friends, to learn how to do that as an adult. It's a very sacred honor, and it's a privilege. I think to be a friend to someone is a real privilege, and I think we take it for granted sometimes. We think it's already established when, like we said, it's going to take some energy. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some nurturing, just like any relationship, right? You guys are a little bit frozen for me. Can you still hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can hear you really well.
Okay, great. I'm so glad. It's just everybody's frozen faces. All right. Thank you, Siobhan. Did you want to share anything else before you go, love? I don't know what's happening with your volume, though. We can't hear you. Sabina, Penny, Kira, does anybody else want to jump in?
I will.
Go for it.
So am I on or no? Okay. All right.
I will pass the
Oh.
talking stick to Sabina.
Is it my turn or Kira? My turn, yeah. All right, yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. And thank you for the beautiful song. I couldn't hear the second part. Somehow had audio issues. But I just want to add to what Loni shared before. Actually, that resonated really deeply with me. And I experienced that many times going into nature and actually feeling such an outburst of joy. And I was actually crying and literally, so deeply tuned in. And at some point, I actually got to see the trees breathing. I was so connected to them. And then I had actually an experience where I really started to observe nature on such a deep level, and I was so tuned in. And I could actually see that the trees, I would actually see they're all beautiful women reaching out their hands in the sky and dancing and their hair blowing. It was such a beautiful vision I had. And it was just by really being so present and so connected. And it was the same trees that I used to see every single day from my deck. But this time it was in such deeper level. And I really got this appreciation for beauty and how much nature can reveal when you really, really connect. And it's not just a tree. Every tree is actually so different and they all have their unique beauty. And I started to observe flowers even, like there were all these fields with daffodils, and I looked at, but every single one is so unique and everyone has their own beauty. And really, it's on a much deeper level, I started to appreciate nature. And that really happened once I moved. I live in the forest, in the mountains, there's many flower meadows and a river. So actually, I live in nature. So I got the experience every day. I go for a walk. I'm always outdoors. And yes, I wear the dresses. And I actually used to wear, a long time ago, I used to work in fashion. I still have many elegant designer dresses that I've been carrying with me for years and never wear again. So I started to wear them. Now going to nature in these beautiful gowns. Yeah. And it is, it's just an experience. You feel really feminine and just, I don't know, so romantic and elegant being in nature. Now you wear them barefoot now. Before I used to wear high heel shoes, which I haven't worn in years. Now I wear barefoot.
I feel you.
So yes, I do have this appreciation for nature, and it's really been my medicine, and that's where I really connect to God, source, the divine, whatever you want to call it. But that's how I really started to really tune into these deeper levels of life. And I want to quickly add to what you said earlier, Marie, about the grievances and, grievances and miracles. And it's really about the choice we can make at each moment, to look at something and see it as a grievance. We actually feeding it negative energy and giving this, defeating the negativity, or we're seeing it as agreements. And when we focus on the negative things in life, I know this from my life, it attracts other negative things. And it's this downward spiraling. But once you learn actually to changing your perspective, instead of seeing it as agreements, always, to look at what is the gold in there. And I learned to look at everything. There's always gold in everything. And the biggest challenges in my life that I faced actually were the biggest gold ever got revealed. But in that moment, first I couldn't see the gold. But then I started to dig deeper, digging for the gold. And at some point I actually found the gold. And now I look back, the biggest challenges were the most amazing opportunities, the most amazing gifts and miracles in my life ever. But it really started from changing the perspective. Instead of being the victim of agreement or negative thought, okay, what can I learn from here? How can I rise above this? What is the goal in there? What am I learning from this? And really looking at it from that perspective and going deep.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, when you practice that, you will actually find it. Yeah, it's everywhere. So it's really the change in perspective, that miracles are actually everywhere. And once I actually dedicated my life to miracles, they kept showing up everywhere. I see miracles. Literally, every day I have joy in my life. Every day I have a miracle somewhere, even there, that might seem small, but miracles that I would have never even perceived before, because I was so fixated on the negative things, of the things that are not working, on the things that are missing in my life. Instead of starting gratitude, what I actually do have, and focus on the positive and looking deep. Where's the miracle here? And when you actually dedicate yourself to miracles, they keep coming and coming. It's just so magical. And it really starts from choice. What are you choosing to call in any moment? And really ask yourself those essential questions.
Yeah. Wow. So much good juice in there, Sabina, as you know. No pun intended, but really, really beautiful sharing, because what you're really saying is, like, this is the experience I'm having. Like, this is how I'm living my life right now. This is how I feel on a moment to moment basis. And that is beautiful. I want to celebrate that in each other, because when you do that, you give permission to others to also do that. And that's what this is about, is that we have got, it's like I was speaking to earlier, we've got to shift out of suffering. We have to opt out of that. And if we're constantly in those energies, it's going to weigh you down. So go out in nature, go drink some juice, go a little bit deeper. If you want to accuse somebody, him without the first stone, without sin can cast the first stone, right? Like, we just take all of your energy that you want to place on others and pull it into yourself. Pull it deep, pull it in, pull your navel up and in. Uddiyana Bandha. Pull your navel in, take a deep breath, suction out your belly. You know what I mean? Like, stretch it out. I got on my mat today and I was like twisting. I'm like, no, I got to twist that out again. Those are some toxic energies still in this field. They've got to go. I don't want them anymore. I have no purpose. I'm turning away from what doesn't work towards what does. And nature works. She talks. She's got a lot to say. She's got a lot to say. It's a different kind of language. It's a language of vibration. And those are the miracles that occur when you turn from fear to love. Because again, grievance, judgment, all that stuff is just fear. Fear of something. Fear of being deceived. I think a lot of us are just so ready to be broken that we do it first. We reject you first before we're rejected. It's like, wait a second here. What? I just got the love. People aren't used to this much love either. Are they, Sabina? They are not used to this. They are not used to it. You're walking into Costco or wherever you're going, you're like, hey, hi. You're walking around without your mask on. You're looking at your brothers and sisters and you're seeing the light. It's like Siobhan was saying earlier too. Even if they're masked and jabbed and all the things, you're seeing their light. Maybe that's the perfect scenario for their awakening. Who knows? Guess what? I'm not going to pretend to know anymore. And I'm going to own the times when I thought I knew and I was wrong. And that's okay. I'm okay with being wrong because I know it's not a performance. It's life. It's a school. And the school that I go to, the teachers are really kind. They're kind. Right, Penny? It's essential because light, you can't grow under pressure. Grow now. You're not doing it right. You got to do, it's like, whoa, no, thank you. We've all been there. We've all had experiences like that. We don't want to recreate that as adults. So anytime that's showing up in our life, it's okay. Well, here I am attached to that again, that system, that, whatever patriarchal stuff that we're all working out too. There's that. That's that false energy that none of us want anymore. And so the good news is that if you're responsible, you get to do your own work and you get to extract it. And just watch how welcomed you are into the field of love. Just watch. Just waiting for you. Just waiting for you to show up. Oh, yay. And celebrating every time you sit down and you say, I'm here. I'm listening. Every single time. Angels, legions of angels. Legions of angels. Just for you. Just for you. Because you're becoming more and more of your angelic self by letting go of who you're not anymore. Stepping more fully into the light of who you are. No matter what. That's what it takes. Okay? Don't let anybody put you on a cross. That's what I'm learning. No, thank you. Been there. I've already been there. I've already done that. Anybody else? I mean, look at all the things that have happened in your life, Penny. Like I know you went through a passing recently too, of a partner. I'm a widow. I have had that experience in life. It's deep. Whoa. Talk about, getting wrung out from the inside. It's deep, deep. Life is a beautiful thing. And as a woman who's feeling, embrace that about you. And don't let that express itself. That's what's been the problem all these years. She's been unsafe to express herself, express whatever it is she wants to express. I can keep going unless someone wants to pop in.
I just want to say I have to go now, Marie, but it was always a pleasure to be here and especially be in the presence of all these beautiful women. What an honor. And I wish you all a magical day.
Thank you, Sabina. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Lots of love to everyone who comes.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
So amazing.
I can talk, Marie.
Go for it.
Hello, everyone. It's such a blessing to be with these beautiful high souls that remind us of who we really are. Can you hear me very well? Okay, great. I'm reminded of the first time I saw the Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh on a TV show, and he was demonstrating how he apologizes to someone. And at the time, being in my left brain and having, hundreds of spiritual books, but maybe not completely jumping into the 0 point at that time in my life yet, I saw him as being so over dramatic. And the way he apologized, he taught it like this: "Oh, my darling, oh, my precious one, I am so sorry that I hurt your beautiful feelings. It is the last thing in the world I would ever want to do, is to hurt you. Please allow me to enter into your world and see through your eyes, so I can see how I misjudged you or see how I was misaligned with you. And please forgive me. Let me back into your heart and show me what I can do right now to support you. And he said it with this tender, kind voice. And I went, oh my God, that's a little overdoing it. And I realize now that the reason I thought that is that I had a few major players of dark archetypes in my life that I could never even imagine myself speaking like that, because they would just throw daggers at me still. They were still in enemy mode, hurling all their weapons at me. And the furthest thing in my mind was that I could ever have that kind of conversation on that level. And I came across this quote by Thich Nhat Hanh, which I can never remember his name, so I call him tic-tac-toe in my mind. And he said this, and this shows what a freaking master he is. He said, the ability to apologize sincerely and express regret for the unskillful things we say or do is an art. A true apology can relieve a great deal of suffering in the other person. And then another thing he says is that the reason people suffer is because they are caught in their views. As soon as we release those views, we are free and we don't suffer anymore. So what he was doing was he was going to the place where he could see that they needed to shift. It's like a shamanic practice of seeing the invisible core of the pain. And by being so tender and so gentle, he allowed access for them to go there and open to him. And this also reminds me of a time in my life that was really a powerful learning experience. When I was 18 years old, I worked in an art gallery. And one night, a woman came in very late, right before we closed. And she was very elegantly dressed, rich woman. And she had a guard dog on either side of her that just stayed right at her heels. And they were German shepherds, beautiful, huge, gorgeous animals. They looked like they must have cost thousands of dollars, professionally trained, and they paid no attention to me. They just stayed at her heels. And I was so fascinated. It was almost closed. I didn't have the heart to tell her no animals allowed. I felt surely these animals were supposed to be there. But I had been reading a book, and the book was called, I believe, Kindred Spirits or something close to that. And it taught the story of how to communicate with animals. And it said, in order to have a telepathic communication with an animal, first you must establish the same frequency, like dialing into a radio station. And they're on another station and we're on the other one. It's the other ones. And so that's why we think that they, are not able to be reached. Well, of course, sensitive souls and the indigenous people, and many people know better. But this is what the book taught, is find how to dial in. And what the book said was you do it through praise. You find the frequency of praise is the one that will adjust and calibrate you. And so I thought, well, I'm nothing to do here. I'm just waiting for us to close. I'm going to try it with these animals. I'm going to see if I can praise them. And the book said it has to be very sincerely, telepathically, and see if I can connect with them. And so that's what I did. I started taking the one closest to me, as the woman was very slow going up the gallery, a long, thin gallery. And this one dog was right in front of me. So I started thinking, you have the most beautiful coat. I can see what a noble creature you are. I see how obedient you are to your owner. I can see the beauty in your eyes. And the dog turned around and locked eyes with me.
Wow.
And at that point, I knew we were on. And so I kept talking to her, having a little conversation. I said, how are you? You really are a beautiful, majestic creature. And the dog stopped in its track. Now the owner and the other dog kept going. And this one stopped in its tracks right in front of me. And he looked anxiously a few times in front of to see if the distance between his owner was okay, but he didn't stop. I mean, he didn't go. He kept locking on. So I came from behind the counter where I was, and I walked all the way around to where he was, speaking in my mind to him about what a beautiful animal, and I'd love to be friends. And I got to the place where I felt I could touch him. And then I dropped to my knees and I put my arms around his neck and I was hugging him. And from the end of the gallery, which the woman had now made her way, let out this scream. And she screamed and she came running to me and she said, she was shaking and she said, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing to my dog?" And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry." I jumped up and I backed her. "I'm so sorry, lady." I said, I just was giving him some love. And she went into almost hyperventilation and she said, "Oh my God." She said, "These dogs I've had for 2 years. They're highly trained German dogs. I bought them from Germany and they never ever leave my side because I was attacked. And now I have these as my protection. And I know these dogs love me because in the 2 years I've had them, I've been sick several times. And when I'm sick, they stay with me, refusing food and water, but they have never, ever showed me any affection because that dog was licking my face."
Wow.
And she said, "What did you do?"
Wow.
And I couldn't tell her that I was having, I would dialed in onto his frequency telepathic conversation. But this cycles back to forgiveness, and the art of forgiveness is that if we are to stay in our ivory tower and say, "Well, I don't tolerate this and I don't tolerate that, and you're out of my life and I'm cutting you off, and you violated the code from my perspective." And note that my graphic up there shows how perspectives can be so different depending upon where you stand and what you observe. And to not take the opportunity to be the alchemist of forgiveness and love, and to bring a state change in the person because you are a master of love. And you can bring the unhealed soul of that German shepherd who was dying for affection. He needed to be healed too.
Wow.
And so this was such a powerful lesson to me, that calibrating through love to the core of the wound. And this is what people need. We're all so wounded. And here's another quote from Tic Tac Toe, Thich Nhat Hanh. He says, "When another person makes you suffer, it is because he suffers deeply within himself, and his suffering is spilling over. He
Yes.
does not need punishment. He needs help." That's the message he's sending. And so when we see someone who is unable to bridge into love and speak kindly, we talk so much in this loving community about being a kind man, but sometimes I don't see kindness, I see judgment. And to the kind man that is the master alchemist will love his brother and sister enough to say, "Let me see the core of you. I'll show you the core of me. Let us heal together. Let us love together." And this is being the master. And we are masters. We have just been afraid to love because this place has not been a place of love. We came to an earth that it didn't feel safe to be who you are because you are love. And love here hasn't been safe for a long time, but not anymore. We are now choosing to be the living love. And this is a stretch for us because we cannot be at all in our left brain and be love. And when we're not love, we are in our left brain. And so the clearest mirror is the vibration coming from us. If it's loving, we're in the right brain. If it's judging, we're in the left. And that's the clearest way that I know. So I want to share that with you all today. That's on my heart, to bring love and peace and healing in this community. Let us speak with such tenderness and such gentleness with each other, and know that we're all suffering. And like Lonnie said, we're all wounded, we're all hurt, and we need each other's patience and mercy. And yeah, we should not be subject to attack and being stoned to death in the public square and being, maligned without the opportunity for all of the community to come in and heal. Because, in the indigenous tribes, there's a tribe in Africa where if someone does something wrong, all work stops for 3 days, and they just talk story about the person from the very beginning of their existence, all their story of their life, and help them heal. Oh my God, what a different world it would be in our little communities if, when someone came out of alignment, instead of stoning them to death, we all stopped and said, oh, let us help this person heal. Let us see what needs to be done. Where do we need to pack in an unguent of love? How can we help? How can we rise together? And I have had experiences where I had a close relationship with a girlfriend, very, very close, like a soulmate. And then their husband became very jealous. And whenever the three of us would get together, if there was an opportunity where one toenail of mine was over the line in their imagination, I said a word they didn't like or did something, that was it. I was out, because they were waiting to cast me out. They were waiting. And so that showed me their intention. You know, it could have been just one hair out of place and I was out, because they had an agenda already. They were jealous of the deep, close spiritual relationship I had with their wife. And so, you know, that energy didn't need to happen, but this is fear. Fear pushes out. Remember the poem, I think Emily Dickinson said, you draw a circle to shut me out, and I draw a circle to bring you in, to draw you in. And so I just want to invite all of you to be in the loving heart where we realize that we need each other to heal. We need our love. We've been unloved. You know, I could tell you my sad story of how I've been unloved, but now I see that the biggest challenge is for me to love myself completely and deeply as the mirror of God and as the emissary of God, to express him as fully as I can. God Goddess, the divine feminine rising, the strong medicine woman that I know I am, needs to be expressed here in loving kindness to all of you and to all of womankind, mankind. So I'll pass the torch to beloved Penny, and thank you for allowing me to share.
Really beautiful.
Thank you, Kira. It was beautiful. It was. Yeah. I was going to talk about the drama thing too, because I've just had a big drama week last week with a friend. I've got one friend who's very into the drama of everything. She's got 4 daughters who are they're all into drama, all adults, but they're all do the drama thing. So
That's fun dinner.
I let her go. I couldn't keep it up anymore. I just couldn't be bothered anymore. So that's gone. So that's the drama out of my life. The one thing I've been just picking up on most tonight listening is the God part of having God in your life, because I had never had God in my life ever. I used to play truant at Sunday school when I was a kid because I hated it. Didn't see the point, didn't understand anything they were saying, or nothing resonated. So I just played truant and never really learned anything. And when I started on my spiritual journey, I guess it started off with listening to Abraham Hicks, the law of attraction, all that kind of stuff. So I started manifesting and things like that started to come easily for me. But I had never really brought God into the picture until you guys came along, and Charlie, and and so it's an aspect of myself that I really haven't even explored. I know that there is something in me. It's probably God. But for one reason or another, this morning when I woke up, I said, God, today I want it to be about love. And that's really, goosebumps, but really weird, because I've never, ever done that before. Never. And then things came today because of that. I've had such a beautiful day. I had no plans, but I've ended up being really busy, just helping people and just doing things out of love today. So yeah, it was just it's such a nice thing. And you know, I just I've given up planning my days, and just every day as it comes, and whatever happens, happens. And I just set my intention in the mornings to have a good day, be happy, and have lots of love around me, and express my love, because the people react to you differently when you can come from that aspect. You know, people see you differently, treat you differently. So yeah.
True.
But this God thing, I'm working on it. I don't really know what it is, and I know it's about source, and I understand all of that, and I feel it. I feel it. I hear it, and here I get messages, and I can, you know, I can understand and everything, but I've never had it in my life. So that's just something I'm trying to really incorporate and be open to. Yeah.
I would say you've never not had it in your life.
Maybe. I haven't had a traumatic life. I don't, you know, I've had a really good, lovely life, you know, good parents, everything, you know, just a blessed life. And I've worked hard, and I've never, you know, nothing's come to me easily until I started really doing the work. And I never really loved myself until I actually started doing the work. And then, you know, that changed with losing a lot of weight helps. You know, I've always been fat, obese, actually. So going to fruit and starting this path has been the best thing, of course, for me, you know, in many ways. But, you know, the more clean you become, the more you can actually, you know, love yourself and, you know, appreciate what you are, you know.
Wow. It's so good what you just said, like appreciate what you are. Because that's all this is like a returning back to the truth of who you are, which is so when we get here, you know, all of the stuff, don't love yourself. Look at all of these reasons why you shouldn't love yourself. Society tells you not to, your parents tell you, your teachers, your siblings, your friends, and then the food, and then
and everything, TV, and every shop you walk into, buy this, it'll make you better. Put this on, it'll make you better, you know. It's, less is better, you know. It's not about things, it's about people, and it's about relationships. It really is, you know.
Yeah. And it's about, I would say holy relationships, you know, like divine connection relationships, equality.
Like, yeah, because I'm here in a foreign country, I don't meet many people. So, you know, I initially I was clinging to just people, anyone. But now, yeah, no, it's definitely quality. And the friend I was with today, she just said, "Where do you people come from?" And I said, "Well, you know what? We're all over the world, and you know, there's a lot of us, and we are where we are for good reasons." So, you know, and I mean, she's from Moldova, living up the road in Portugal, and you know, here I am helping her. And so this is what we are here for. And these people do come to us,
Beautiful.
You know, when we are open and loving.
Yes, because God wants your perfect happiness
Mm-hmm.
and knows what it is for you, and knows how that's like super unique blend of cosmic and earth energy just for you, of situations, of life's experiences, of all of it, of all the things organized in such a magnetic, intelligent, like blah way, you know, just for your growth, like just for you. I mean, that's the level I think that Kira was speaking to, so many things too, but just that self-love, that's loving yourself, is loving what God created and seeing it in its brilliance and being like, wow. And then seeing your creations and blessing your creations instead of your miscreations, which are, you know, the things that we create out of fear. But we do that. Yeah. Being like, wow, Penny, like you showed up today for a friend, like you showed up. Way to go. You know, you can put your head on the pillow today and be like, yeah, today was great. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for allowing me to be of service in your loving, amazing, mysterious experiment.
And I'll do the same again tomorrow, you know, it'll just be the same again. It's the same every day. Whatever's needed to be done, you know, and whoever's needing the help needs it the most.
Right.
So that's what I'm here for. That's, I've got all the time in the world, and I just seem to be doing something every day for somebody. So it's fine. It's perfect. My life is perfect.
Thank you. Wow, Penny, thank you for saying that. Thank you for loving on our brothers and sisters in Portugal and letting them know that they're loved and they're equal. They deserve it and they're worthy of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
You see
Nobody
them.
seems to think they are worthy of love unless it's their partner, or, and this lady I'm talking to, and she's just talking about her husband and how much they love each other. But, yeah, relationships, they need work all the time. They get boring. So, yeah, but love, if you've got enough love and you work at it, it's always going to be a good relationship.
Yeah. Well, that's it, because that's the trust. That's the foundation, is love. Yeah. So you can build anything on love, true
Absolutely.
love. And true love is unconditional.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean you condone craziness. That's not what I'm saying. But it does mean that you continue to love. And that never stops. And you're never going to, blah, 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 the stuff. You're going to keep, okay, what is this about for me? It's just all about you. And that's like, it's not a selfish thing. That's selfless. To clear yourself so much, to be of service at that level, to bow. And I'm so sorry, brother. What happened? Please forgive me. Please forgive me. It's a very powerful thing to be able to say that and to really mean it. And whether you received it or not from them, you'll receive it from yourself. Yeah. Because you were willing, again, really good stuff. Beautiful, Penny. I'm so glad for you. And I feel really connected to you just because I can sense your authenticity. Like you're just you're like looking at life every day. You're waking up and you're like, okay, here I am.
It's a new day. Start again. What can I do today? Who can I help?
Well, that's one of my favorite projects is what would you have me do? Mm-hmm. Where would you have me go? What would you have me say? And to whom? Yeah. That level of surrender. So that's God. That's it.
Yeah. I think I've got God. I think he's in my car. I have dog food, people food, bags of clothes. And if I ever see anybody, I just stop. I've got dog food, cat food, clothing. I just give it out. There's people in need, and I'm always prepared just to give it out, shift it around to whoever needs most.
Wow. You're an angel. Thank you for doing that work. Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. Wow. Sarah, welcome. It's always lovely to see you.
It's great to jump on. I was preparing some food, listening on the YouTube to most of it, and then I was able to jump on. So nice to see you all. And yeah, I'm inspired by different things different women have spoken about today. First of all, I just want to acknowledge the spaciousness of these conversations, where it's very beautiful and also quite rare to feel the extent of spaciousness where, like, I just feel so satisfied just when I say just, but only listening can be fully satisfying. And there's no need to speak, but it's lovely to be invited to speak. And I just want to acknowledge the level of spaciousness. It's a very high level and it's very beautiful. And yeah, I appreciate it very much. And Kira was mentioning about in African villages, if somebody had a problem or needed healing, everyone stopped and worked on that. And I have worked with Malidoma Some and the Dagger Healing, and Rowan and I both entered into Healing Village with those traditions. And Malidoma Some actually did come to Nova Scotia, and we did elemental healing villages for 5 days. And I also did ancestral healing with him and with a large village of people. And it was what was amazing is that is exactly what happened. And it was modeled from what would happen all the time in their village. Would be, if anyone was suffering, yeah, the attention went to that person. They became the center. And no one who was around thought anything was being taken from them. They were like overjoyed that their healing gifts were being offered and that they were used in a spontaneous manner. And I will never forget the day after we had done an earth elemental healing, very deep experience. And one woman had spoken to me about how she had felt really incomplete. And I said to her, well, perhaps, if you're feeling incomplete, the completion could happen today. And it did actually happen many hours later, very spontaneously. And in a way, it was way more, well, not that I'm to compare, but it was so beautiful and so potent because it was so spontaneous. And maybe the lessons were so much more deep there because our society, we like to be more organized about healing, right? Anyway, so all of a sudden this woman was surrounded, and one person was offering plant medicine, others were bringing their sound healing, others were offering touch, children were playing around, like somebody went to combine some mud with the plantain. It's interesting because I have a plantain I found right beside me here. Very healing plant, which can be used for all sorts of stings and anything really. Anyway, we did this spontaneous healing, and at the end, one of the elders, I clearly remember her saying to this woman, "Thank you so much for receiving my medicine." I will never forget this woman, Sula, saying this, "Thank you so much for receiving my medicine." And a lot of times when I am called into service, or when there is a group of whatever spontaneous kind of experience happen, I do find myself saying that was modeled to me by this woman, Sula, and either speaking it out aloud or, certainly contemplating it. It's a very beautiful thing. Thank you so much for receiving my medicine. And anyways, I thank Kira for inspiring me to share that. And I also wanted to share a little miracle, or it was actually a big miracle that happened last night for me. And it's connected to forgiveness, because there's a couple in this town who were really good friends of mine. And there was, I went through some challenges with them, and basically they fell away from my life. In fact, I went through a period where I would have said they were very dangerous people, like for me, like unsafe. And one of them actually is a teacher, and he had been an elementary school teacher, music teacher for my son, Rowan, when Rowan was in school. Anyways, last night I was biking around town and I just happened upon their street, and the woman was sitting out on her veranda, and I just felt called to approach. And then the fellow, he came out also on the veranda too, and we just started speaking. And I honestly felt like all grudge, whatever, it just had been dissolved. And yeah, and like I can't say it was anything in my head intellectually that happened. It felt very magical. And at one point in time, I mentioned Rowan in the conversation, like I brought up Rowan's name, and I could see the man, he just stiffened. He like I could see that he was in a great deal of pain. And I realized that part of my grudge with them was that I felt like they had not acknowledged the death of my son. And it made me very angry that people, you can't come and speak to me or share some sort of words or energy around that. Anyway, I just looked at this man and I said, wow, I said, are you all right? And he said, it's going to make me cry. He goes, I am so, he goes, I just want to tell you, I'm so sorry. I have never acknowledged, I've never acknowledged Rowan's death. And he said, I want you to know there isn't one day that doesn't go by when I don't think of that child of God. And I was like, wow, like really? And this man is a runner. Like he runs every day, and he loves the heat, and he'll often run in the heat of the day. And he said to me, Rowan, he says, I think of Rowan every time I go running. And he goes, like every day. And you just wouldn't, it was amazing to me that I had no idea that my son's beautiful spirit is with this man every day. And I just said to this man, I said, well, can you just receive that? And can we just release this guilt? Like there's something wrong, like just allow this in. And yeah, anyways, I can just say that this man's heart was unburdened, and I could see everything in his body shift. Like he went from stiff and holding to open. And I could just feel that the whole universe was really rejoicing with this sharing and this connection and this knowing that that Rowan's spirit is eternal. And yeah, I'll just say that was such a beautiful healing, and I have learned to release my my judgment of people when, you know, it is very difficult for people to speak about death and all things in their own time, and whatever that clearly was, everyone was ready. I was ready. This fellow Rod was ready. And I mean, I didn't know I was going on a bike ride. I didn't know I was going on that street. I was just weaving around, feeling beautiful in this beautiful summer air, riding this bicycle, and this healing took place. And it was very spontaneous. And it was a healing in the village. And so now,
Wow.
all I can say is, you know, again, thank you. And I do feel Rowan so close. And I feel the purity of that child of God's spirit. Like, and honestly, I give thanks for that boy helped me so much enliven and awaken within me and purify my own spirit. And I can say I don't know anyone else who has to that level, and maybe it's not right to compare, but I will just say I'm very grateful. And one thing I want to share that I've said to a few people, and I feel safe to share it here in this conversation, is I keep wishing to see Rowan again in this world, and for me to know that that is him. Okay, so when I say that, I know that there have been different animals that have come very close, like snakes that have sat before me and friends and just stared at us for a very long time. Bunnies, and a deer came up to me the other day, and it just kept coming closer and closer. And I said, I looked into the eyes of the deer and I said, are you Rowan? And this deer just came closer and closer, and the eyes turned and had beautiful brown eyes like my son. And I was like, wow, are you Rowan? Like, and then a car went by on the road, and the deer did go away. But all I will say is what is real for me is that it just feels real. It feels the spirit. It just feels magical. And I will say, I am just very open to allow more of this healing and this alchemy to take place, and magical experiences and elevating experiences. And I thank you very much, all who are listening right now, because I do feel when people are sharing their stories, I know for me, it's very healing to unburden my heart with this and to be heard. And it's not anywhere, I don't feel it's necessarily anywhere that I can just share these things. So thank you, every one of you who's listening, whether it's right now in this Zoom chat or somebody who listens later. And bless you, bless you. And I love you all. Thank you.
Wow. It's beautiful, Sarah. We love you too. I speak on behalf of everyone who that testimony that, you know, that's honesty. Like, that's what we want from each other. That's what makes us feel spacious and safe, is that we can be vulnerable and we could just really be like, this is what's on my heart. Like, with detachment, you know, around how it will be received or what, you know, like, that's freedom.
Mm-hmm.
To express yourself, to know you're in the divine flow, to just allow it to be what it is and to be received as it will be, is detachment, because you know it will be perfect for whoever hears it, even if they take it in a negative direction. You know, like how you had that story about the couple and how you had that resentment, and then when you gave it up, you had that experience of seeing actually he was dealing with his own relationship to death and his own relationship to a former student and his own relationship to his self as a young man. I mean, how deep everyone's experience is and how much we think we know what it is. We think we know. And when you're detached, you're free. You give it to God. You go, will you heal this? Will you heal this? However, like Penny is, however I can be of service. If I'm going to be the good guy in this, the bad guy, the whatever archetype you're going to play in it, you're detached. Because at the soul level, we're all in communion. We're all in that unified field of love. And that's where we're together. And that's where we're going. That's where we're going with this. But we've got to learn, because, you know, we're coming out of the human, going back into the spiritual. On some level, we know 100%. And on some level, we know nothing. But we're trying to like keep going towards the light and using those vantage points and those characteristics of God's teachers, which are trust in God above all, trust in the light, trust in the love. And then what? Be honest, be consistent, keep showing up, keep going in that direction, keep going, be tolerant, because you don't know how it's all being used. You just don't. How could you? That's part of the fun. You're a player in this grand, you don't know the end. You know the end is good, but you don't know all of the steps and all of the scenes in between. That's what Lonnie was speaking to. It's like, this is the show, it's unfolding. It's like, oh, wow. Okay, well, I didn't see this one coming, but here it is. So it's like you take the vantage points and you tolerate, because if you judge, you assume a position that you do not have in this whole orchestra. You're a player, you're not the conductor. Okay. And then what? Well, and then you're gentle and you're humble, because you're tolerating a lot of weird scenarios, because you're trying to be the highest iteration of yourself, which is gentle. It is gentle. And if you're gentle, you get joy, because you can't get joy if you're not gentle, because you can't coerce joy. Joy is the feminine. You can't manipulate her. She's too smart. She's only coming out if you're gentle, because that's how she rolls. And she's not going to mess around for your craziness. She's not going to change who she is for your craziness. No. She's going to ask you to keep, elevating. And then what? Then there's a lot of generosity. A lot of generosity in that field of joy. Because there's abundance there. That's fifth dimensional energy. There's no holding. There's only winning for you and winning for me and winning for her and winning for him. That's what Sarah just demonstrated. That's the forgiveness. When you get to that level, the whole thing healed itself. That's generosity. And generosity is defenseless. You don't have to defend it. You don't have to defend anything here. If you hold on to, well, he's afraid and he didn't acknowledge and I'm the victim of this, then you miss all the rest of it. Joy goes away, generosity goes away, tolerance, honesty, and trust. All of it wiped out. All of it. That's how this thing works, friends. So when you're defenseless, you know you're safe because your only function is to be of service to the love. That's it. And then you're patient. You can be patient now because you're defenseless. And you know if you need to undo something, you will. You can be patient. You can be shown your lessons. You can demonstrate the way that Sarah did. Okay, patience here. It's going to be healed. Patience. It will. If I need to change anything, I'm willing to do that because I know that that's how healing works. It requires flexibility on a level that we are very unaccustomed to in here. A lot of our bodies can do shapes and sizes, but in here we're still really stuck. And then, friends, this is a teaching from a course which we can get into, but it's so beautiful because once you're defenseless, you have a level of faith that's unshakable. Even in your disbelief, you're still going to find your way back to faith because you know the energy of faith, you know the feeling of it, and you love it so much. That's what you love more than anything, is that unity. And that comes from having faith in creation as unity, intelligence. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's one energy. It's 0 point, as Kira loves to say. That's what it is. Then you're open-minded. You're so open. You're so open. You're so disconnected. You're from any of the other stuff. You're so open in the love. All those frequencies, it's like magic carpet. You keep lifting it up and clearing out the dust. You're so open. You have so much faith. And that's how these things happen if you're going to be a teacher of God, which only means you care about love and only love. That's all that means. Because that's what God is. God is love. And only love. And anything that's not love is not God. So it's not real. Good news for all of us as we continue to maneuver through our nights and days, our days and nights on planet Earth. How to keep maneuvering through. And everything is just so perfect, friends. Even in its imperfection, it's perfectly there for us. And how grateful we can be for the practice of forgiveness, truly, for the ability to see things differently and to grow and to praise each other and to love on each other. Even when we're down, we just keep loving each other out. That's the work, and that's the privilege of having this material, these calls. That's the privilege. That's what we owe now because we're so privileged. We are, and we're so honored. We owe it. We owe it now to move it forward out of gratitude. Not out of, oh, I have to do this. No, out of wow, because if I keep doing that, it expands. So that's the last riff that I have for you all. And I trust that we continue to put one foot in front of the other. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Put one foot in front of the other. Trust the process. Love yourself. You're doing great, you guys. Focus on what you're doing great. Okay? I think it's really important. Just because now we're balancing out, there'll be a time we won't have to. We'll be in it. But for now, let's focus on, wow, okay, I really did this. I'm doing that. Okay, let's keep All right. Anything else that wants to be shared before we finish off for this week's Miraculous Mondays?
The end of the movie. Is that the end of the movie?
Fingers crossed.
Trump 2021 to 2025. That's the end of the movie.
Right on. Right on. Right on. One foot in front of the other. We're getting there. Yes. Thank you. Then I love you. Thank you. Then I love you. Yes, please. And I love you. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity for me to share. And thank you for all of you who watch these replays, and check out the link tree for more. And we love you. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Kira.
Beautiful show, Marie. Every single person's contribution was just so touching and real and beautiful. And I feel honored to be in this circle of beauty. And Marie, you are just spectacular. And I love and appreciate you so much, all of your wisdom. And may you continue to shine brightly, you crazy diamond.
Thank you. I love that song. Shine on, you crazy diamonds, too. Thank you. You see in me beautiful what is in you. Thank you. Namaste consciousness, right? See the light in you. I see the light. And in that place, we're one. And it's such a gift to be there with all of you. I love that vibration. Thank you.